My cousin Tyrone, he used to say this back in the day. That cat said, I know you know the slogan. It's two type of guards. It's a point guard and then there's a Shammgod.
Tell him that's love.
Appreciate you, brother.
Tell him
Appreciate
that's
you
love.
for real.
Tell him I get a shirt made. I got him some money on it, man.
Welcome to the Teed Up Podcast. Uncle Phil here with my brother T. Hence the name Teed Up.
What up?
Going straight into this introduction to basketball, like fans and people who know the game of basketball. This man really needs no introduction. To the youngsters out there, you know, you guys are gonna get to see and hear from a legend, you know, that pretty much came, you know, to the stardom around my generation and my brother's generation, respectively. God Shammgod.
Thanks for having me on Teed Up. You know, I'm here for my brother T and Uncle Phil, you know, so we getting it in, just chopping it up, talking about, you know, back in the days to as far as now, from old school to new school, and just, you know, things like that. And, you know, just talk about how the game evolved and how the game was.
I actually wanted to start off the interview by talking about how, like, you actually transition into coaching, first of all. Because I know, like, you had a, you know, long professional career, the draft and everything, and then pretty much more overseas.
Yeah.
But then, and this is just me doing my, you know, my little research and stuff, coming back and actually honing your coaching skills back where you actually started playing college basketball. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, for me, it's kind of, to go back to come full circle, it's kind of like, you know, I never thought I would be a coach. I never thought I'd be training people, but like, since growing up, you know, starting in Brooklyn, moving to Harlem, and then learning how to play basketball, basically from the streets before I ever played like AAU or real, what they consider as organized basketball. The first person I ever trained in my life is Kobe Bryant, you know, for people to know, just to show him how to dribble, you know, I had a gift of dribbling, so everybody that was around always asked me to teach them how to dribble and stuff like that. And like you said, going to Providence, well, playing one of the best McDonald's All-American game ever with me, Paul Pierce, Vince Carter, Chauncey Billups, Stephon Marbury, different people.
Kevin Garnett. Carolina.
Yeah, Kevin Garnett, you know, Chicago tried to get it, but.
We just got to have something.
No. Sorry, South Carolina's in the building. I mean, Kevin Garnett definitely, and BJ Mackey, you know. BJ is my bro, so like South Carolina definitely stand up. And then, like you said, growing up in Harlem, you know, with Mace, Cam, Jay-Z, you know, people like that. You know, Mace is the first person that ever took me to play basketball in my life. So then, like you said, you know, getting drafted, going to Providence, you know, I always promised my mother that I would finish my degree. So I left my sophomore year, got drafted. So once I got finished playing basketball, it wasn't even that I was finished. I got injured overseas, came back to Providence to work out, and I was training a guy named Michon Brooks, and he went from okay to first team, all Big East. The next year he had like 52 points and stuff like that. So then when I got there, I was just trying to finish my degree, and they was like, hey, won't you just help with the team? And I was like, I don't know. I was like, but I'll do some stuff. And then I was just doing workouts, like all stuff from my head, like just watching real basketball and saying, oh, this'll work, that'll work, and then it just became drills. Then I started working with the coaching staff. And then after that, we had a guy named Bryce Cotton. He's an Australian legend. He done got MVP. He's probably the greatest American that played in Australia now. And he went from about to transfer from the school because they thought he wasn't good to we worked out all summer, and then he became the star point guard because we had Chris Dunn. Right. That's what the Clippers, but Chris had hurt his shoulder. So then they needed somebody to play the point, and then he became all Big East. And
Chris was
Yeah. So then, like my first 3 years at Providence, people didn't know because Chris kept getting hurt, and they was like, we don't know. But then me and Chris worked out every day, and then he went from good to being the first point guard taken in the draft. And then a lot of teams saw all that, and they was like, hey, you know, you want to try to work at NBA. Then I did like a lot of interviews. And then I already knew Mark because right after the Wizards, my 2 years with the Wizards, I played Summer League with Dallas. And Mark is like always showed me love just from being an innovator of basketball, dribbling. Anybody that know Mark Cuban, he always think outside the box. And then he was like, well, we could offer you a job now. Like I said, I did like Houston, San Antonio, different interviews, different people. And then Mark Cuban, it just fit. And then when I came here, the one thing he always told me, like the requirement here is like, just be you. You don't have to be someone else, just be you, you know what I'm saying?
So easy.
And I could play me better than anybody else. So.
You got it.
So that's the good part.
How many years did you play in the league?
Apparently 2.5 years with the Wizards. And then after that, it was like, it's crazy because, you know, I mean, as you know, that play ball, you never think about overseas until you have to go overseas. You know what I'm saying? I remember when I was, when I got drafted, I was like, man, if I don't be in the NBA, man, I'm back in the hood, just, you know, chilling, just figure it out, play ball, you know, at that, you know, I'm growing up in the Mecca of basketball, so like, street basketball was like everything. You know what I'm saying? Like people I grew up with, they'd rather play 55th than play at Madison Square Garden. They'd rather play at Record Park. You know what I'm saying?
I think that was, for us being in the South, we didn't really get a lot of the exposure of New York street ball, New York basketball, except for Big East. On CBS, in the South. And then later on when the N1 tapes came out, you know, and then we started seeing stuff. But going back to the McDonald All-American, when I say South Carolina, T and BJ Mackey matched up. T and Ron Mercer were matched up, and Ron Mercer was a tournament. And then you were in the Big East with Ray. I think that's when it started, like 93 for us, that's when it started trending up, and you start seeing, you know, more guys like showing out from around our way. But like New York and all over the place, it was just like, we're looking at you guys like, if you make it to the Big East, you're a pro.
Definitely.
Now when you go overseas, that was D2, D3.
Exactly.
Absolutely. That's like,
absolutely.
Overseas.
And that's the same, that's the same like attitude. You know, like you said, when you're young, you look at things in a whole fold. But you know, it's different for me. Like, you know, of course, like I had a son in high school. So it was like, at the end of the day, like once I got in the league and everything was going good, then like I was like, man, listen, you gotta make it. You know, it wasn't like it is now. Like you got G League, you got ATO, you got all this other stuff. So I was like, yo, you gotta go where they gonna make the payback. You gotta keep the money coming in. Especially me being from New York, that's how we roll. We was like, listen, man, it gotta make sense as far as the money wise. Like basketball is basketball anywhere. But then it just like took on like, you know, after playing the NCAA and doing a move in the NCAA, it just took on like a whole life of its own. You know what I'm saying?
I was just about to say that because I called, I text you at like 3:40 or something in the morning because I woke up and the point guard joint was on, and I always try to think about like how did he develop this move, and then I saw it and you was like, I was actually trying to do another move and this move worked.
Yeah, because like, I mean, well, people in our era, the new era, they probably really don't know. So growing up, like, Kenny Anderson was like God,
man.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Whip.
So like, you know, he went to Georgia Tech, that they're like, he's always do this move where he's like dribbling, he's running at you full speed and just change direction. So I was actually trying to do that move, and then once it slipped, I just reacted, you know, and I always was taught the dribble to always be reactive instead of practicing moves, you know. I know in this era, kids practice moves and stuff like that, but I was always taught like, you just need to know how to dribble so then you could just react to any situation. And then it was just a reaction. And then I remember I went home. It's so crazy because I remember that summer I went home and I'm like going to the park, and it's these little kids, they playing. It's the first time. Little kids playing, I'm like looking through the gate and like watching. And the kid was like, oh, I'm about to Shammgod you and all this. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, what is the kid talking about? Like, because like I've never, like, I didn't get on TV saying I'm about to Shammgod somebody. So then, you know, so I gotta thank my father for that because, you know, like I always say in interviews, like if my name was Al or something, I don't know if it hit the same way. You know, Shammgod was just unique. So I guess that's why I hit that way. But yeah, so then I hear kids saying it, and then after that, it just like
Took off.
spiraled, and then it really like took off because rest in peace. When Kobe retired, you know, he was going through like his life of basketball, and somebody in Boston, the Boston Journal, somebody was like, "Yeah, what's kind of the fond memories of you playing basketball?" And he was like, "Yeah, I mean, when I first came back from overseas, you know, and Shammgod taught me how to dribble. So of course." You know, because I've never talked about it like before that.
So he sought you out.
Yeah, his father did. Because what happened was I played in ABCD camp, you know, that was like one of the big, that was. And he played on my team. So like when he first came, you know, everybody, you know, when you're young, only people know is France. They don't know nothing about no Italy and all that other stuff. So they was like, oh, this kid from France or whatever. So he played on my team and he was like walking like Jordan, talking like Jordan. So, you know, when you're young, you know, kids are, you know, we either haters or we cruel.
Right.
So the kids are like, man, who do you think he is walking like Jordan?
This is New York.
Yeah, you know.
This New York is the rest of the
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like when we young, you know how we is. We always joking or we hate or we do whatever.
Right.
So we don't know no better. So everybody's like, man, this dude think he Jordan. This dude's a clown. He ain't never gonna be no Jordan. Like, because what people don't understand, like with Cole, he had the same mindset. In the end, was the same mindset in the beginning.
Right. Gotcha.
Like he's one person. He's the only person I know that was saying he was better than Jordan, and he honestly believed it. Like it was nothing you could tell him. And that was at 16.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So me and playing was team. So it was crazy because I just became All-American, and he was just like blowing up.
Right.
And the dude was taking all the shots. And I was like, yo, hold on. This is my summer, bro. Like, what are you doing? And his father was there. His father had coached LaSalle College.
Okay, yeah.
And it was funny because I went to LaSalle High School.
Okay, gotcha.
And his father coached LaSalle College. So I was like, you know, you young, you don't know better. I'm like, oh, I go to LaSalle High School. I'm going to go to LaSalle College.
Right.
So his father came and he was like, yo, you know, my son, he could do all this stuff. He was like, but he really can't dribble. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, oh, okay. And I was already like, man, I ain't doing nothing for that dude, man. This nigga shooting all the basketballs, whatever. So I was like, I was like, I get up every morning and do this routine. Cause I did, I used to get up every morning. I used to put ankle weights on my wrist and like practice dribbling and do layups like right before the game so I could be more loose. So I was like, yeah, I'll be there. I said, I'll be there at like 7 in the morning. No, I said, I'll be there at 6 in the morning. Cause I'm like, there's no way he's coming, right? So I get there, he's already there sweating. And I was like, what? And then, so then I was just showing him like crossovers, different stuff. And then that right there built into 25-year friendship till like even the last 2 years of his untimely death. Like I was training his daughter.
Right.
Like he would fly me to LA to train his daughter, and the rest of the people, it's crazy because it's like, it's this one picture I have in my house. It's like, everybody in the picture is gone but me.
Wow.
Cause it's me, Kobe, Gigi, and the other girl, right? So it's like, so I hold that picture like dear, and I just remember, and you know, it just gives me grace, and it's just like, you know, just keep pushing, because that's what he would have wanted, you know what I'm saying? Cause like I said, he had brought me to LA to work out his whole team of the girls.
Right.
And she was just as driven as him. So that's why I was like, wow, this is like deja vu. But like him, he was just always, and then when he said that in the Boston Herald, then everybody starts saying, yo, I want Shamm to work me out. So then I started doing like different people, like whether it's Ben Gordon, all these other people. And then people used to send me stuff, and it's so crazy because it's like I knew T forever, because it's like people from South Carolina, I know a lot of people in South Carolina, so one day they sent me a picture of John, and I was like, oh, and he was like, yeah, people don't really know him. It's like, yo, this dude nice. And they sent me John, they sent me another kid, I forgot the other kid, he was a guard, I think it was after John, he was a guard that could jump.
You might be talking about 7th. He was a 7 Woods.
No, it was after 7. They sent me 7. They sent me John. Then it was somebody, I don't know if he was around John time or somebody now recently. And they was like, yo, he's up and coming. He's gonna be like John and all that. So they sent me these tapes in there. They sent me a video and John's like dunking and all that stuff. And I'm like, man, yo, dude, it's nice right here. Right. And I never forget, I had, that's when I first like got used to Instagram, and I posted the video that the person sent me, and I was like, oh yeah, I was like, yo, I don't know who Buddy is. I was like, Buddy gonna be nice though. I was like, yo, this film is crazy right here. Right. And then it's so funny because in the next year, that's when I went to the tournament, and he was killing everybody. Right. And then since I met T, we've been like tight, definitely. Like fam. Yeah.
Yeah, the Marquette.
Yeah, the Marquette game, because I was telling, I just got with the Mavs, and I was like, yo, a kid from South Carolina, I'm like, yo, he nice, bro. And they was like, oh, for real? I was like, yeah. And then when he was like in the tournament, he started killing. So then it made me look good too, because I was like, yeah.
I told y'all.
Yeah, I told y'all. And it's so crazy because it's like, I can't blow them up one because it would be too much to blow them up. But I never forget because before that, I used to do stuff like with Dennis Smith Jr. And then I remember Trey Pops asked me to come. Trey Pops asked me to come see his son, and I went to Peach Jam and saw his son. And it was like when he was in 10th grade, it was like just giving advice because that's what we all got to do. You know what I'm saying? Like when y'all see people, you give advice on stuff. So he was like, man, can you come watch my son play? I was like, yeah. And I came, and that's when Trayvon Duval was like the number 1 point guard. Yeah. And I know his father, so I was talking to him, and then he was like, what you think about Trey? And I was like, bro, it might seem different now. I was like, but he's so skilled. As he get older and play with skilled people, he's gonna be nice. And like, we've been close ever since. But I'll never forget, 2 weeks before the draft, a couple of GMs was like, man, what you think about, because they was like, yeah, I heard you post Ja like last year. And I was like, yeah. And they was like, hey, what you think about Ja? And I was like, oh, he gonna be nice. And they was like, yeah, what? I said, bro, the way the NBA is, it's impossible for him not to be nice. Because no matter what, it's point guard dominant. Yeah, especially a couple of years ago. Like now we get bigs, yeah, that's cool. But regardless of the fact, I'm from New York. It's always been point guard dominant for me because in New York, you always play like 4 out, and like when they do like 5 out spacing, that's what we did in New York. Right. Like because you had no shot clock, so you'd be like, hey, once you get up, just hold the ball and make everybody come out. So they had to guard you and stuff like that. So, I know they think it's now, well, all the analysts stuff. We've been doing 5 out.
I thought y'all do like 5 in.
Yeah.
5 in the paint. I'm saying, can't shoot outside.
No, come on, man, stop it, man. Stop. No, but the thing is once you get up, once you get the lead, then you just hold the ball. Right. So now they have to come out and guard you. You just drive to the basket for layup, like you said. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. No, I know. It's hey. We was buckets. We was buckets.
Yeah. From 10 on in.
Yeah, they try to ban us. They try to stop us from doing floaters and all that. You know what I'm saying?
I agree with the point guard dominating and it being easier. Yes. Because I think from our era, you had to be able to create, and then assist. But now, you got a 7 foot, 1, 200 something about setting a pick, and you coming downhill.
Yeah, and that's what people don't understand is because, the NBA is about pace and space, right? Mm-hmm. So like, if you got a point guard that could dominate, and then the big difference is too now. From our era, like even like New York, it wasn't dudes just wanted to get buckets, right? Yeah. So like that's the easy way to get buckets to get to the rim. But the difference is now, from this era to our era, no shot is a bad shot.
Right.
Like in our era, if you really couldn't shoot consistently, they'd be like, yo, don't shoot. Right. Just pass, cut through, or get to the rim. Yeah. Now, you could go 3 for 14 from 3, and they're like, yeah, keep shooting. Yeah. So you imagine if we had that in our era, because we was already confident, like that. Nobody lacked confidence in our era. You know what I'm saying?
I would try to push that on nephew, like trying to blend our era with. Yeah, I remember D Rose and Westbrook. early in their careers, they would come downhill, and this was if you didn't step up, they was knocking this down, and or else they just all the way to the basket. And I would be like, you don't shoot no middies, and he like, I get right there and put the float up. I don't even have to shoot the mid range. Then you start questioning, you know, why the center's so far back? You know what I mean? It's like they give you all
exactly.
That drop coverage.
Exactly. So it's like, so you know, in this era, it's really no bad shots.
Right.
You know, unless they say this, but in the playoffs, you get down to 3 minutes. This is where you're gonna get your money at anyway for game time. You know what I'm saying? But you know, if you look at our era to this era, even off the court, it's really no consequences. It's more, it's like, hey, like you said, like even with NIL, it's like, yo, dude, can you imagine if my McDonald's American team had NIL, bro?
Crazy.
You know what I'm saying? You'd be a millionaire before you got, Vince Carter would have been an absolute millionaire. You know what I'm saying? And that stuff if you had IG and all that stuff, it catapults you no matter what. Cause like, of course you had KG, you know, them people, but Vince would have been automatically like, number one player in the country. Just off the highlights. You'd have been like, yo, I've never seen someone like this.
And one of the richest in the country.
And one of the richest in the country, you know what I'm saying? Like, I would have had a big following, you know what I'm saying? Like how you got Jelly Fam and all that stuff. Like, man, I was doing so many moves back then. So the difference is then you know. Like the good thing about the kids now is at least they get to know. Like I don't know I have an impact in my era on South Carolina, North Carolina. I don't because you know you got to see these people. You know what I'm saying? But the only thing that was good about that for us was word of mouth is bigger than anything.
We were talking about New York handles and all. We had a teammate, shout out Maurice Preston. When he came down from New York, like he was doing everything with the ball. I'm talking about, but the coach didn't know how to coach that.
Exactly.
You know, because he was like, man, take that New York City shit somewhere else. But Red could manipulate the ball like no other. You know, and I'm talking about at like 9th, 10th grade.
No, and that's what I try to tell people. Like even when I played the NBA, I'm like, it's so funny now. Like, even if I like talk to Jive, I talk to Luka, if I talk to Kyrie, I'd be like, yo, you know what's so funny? I'd be like, everything I'm praised for now, they hated me for.
Right. All the coaches.
Only coaches. Even in the NBA.
You said it earlier. Crimmins was the only one that really allowed it. And then Tark.
Exactly. And it was like, when I say hated it, I remember I used to be with the Wizards, and it's like, man, I'm doing my thing. Like, man, I just want you to come off the pick and roll, just take 2 dribbles and bounce pass. And I used to be like, yo, bro, like, come on, man. Like, what are we talking about? Then it come off, it's like, hey, man, sit down. You know what I'm saying? Because even then, like with the coaches, when we played, like for us, when we played, coaches was everything. Whether you thought they could coach or not, they ran everything. It wasn't like, yo, you know what? He don't know how to coach him, so we gotta get him out of here. So the players, they even got that luxury. You know what I'm saying for certain players? Because like for me, it was like, yo, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, and I'm like, and then it become like a job. Then it become aggravating. I used to be like, then I used to wake up hate going to practice. Like my second year with the Wizards, I used to be like, man, I used to be like, man, I can't wait to get out of practice. So I go up here to the rec and just start and just hoop. You know what I'm saying? So it was like that, but like I try to tell people now, because people always, you know, they have a conversation like, man, so what happened to this? Because they see the way people play now. So they be like, man, when we watch our high school highlights and stuff in college, I'm like, yeah, because in college I'm dunking, I'm doing all that stuff. I'm like, that stuff is easy. And in our era, everybody was tough. See, if you're tough now, they think you're crazy. Or they think something wrong with you. You know what I'm saying? They're like, man, what's wrong with him? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, that's how we came in the joint. Like, you had dudes coming in like, man, I'm locking him up today. You know what I'm saying? And if it got crazy, we could go in the back and scrap. It's no problem. You know, now if you do that, they're like, yo, something wrong with him. We gotta get him off the team, man. There's something wrong with him. You know what I'm saying?
When I was saying the developmental part, because T actually didn't want to coach Ja. He just wanted to work on individual stuff. So when you talk about Kobe and you talk about the routine that you do now, like he started creating stuff in the backyard, in his, like while he's cutting.
See, that's the way. I guess our era is. You know what I'm saying? Because even when I watch, when they show highlights of like T, like you said, teaching job. I was like, man, that's so crazy. I used to be in the back, like with the chairs, just going through the chairs, going through this, going through that. Now, if you tell a kid that, they're like, man, this is terrible practice. I'm not doing no cones. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing. Like, bro, you can't dribble.
That's exactly what. That's what I wanted y'all to like. At the kids now, and it's like, where is the skill set? What are you good at?
Right. But see, that's what we was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Like when we was talking about the AAU joint, I said I wanted to get the 6th and 7th grade start off with that because they tend to listen more. You know, and you with the name and rep and me as well could do more for the kids because they see Josh. You know,
they see the results.
And they see the results of me coaching Josh. So he must know a little bit. I actually used to say that to Josh. I know a little bit about this game, son. You know, type joint. So what you saying, you got 10 to 14. That's a great ball of clay. You can mold however you want.
Yeah, because that's like you said, like, see, like people understand, like when I didn't, like I said, because my father, he used to train boxers, so I used to just box when I come up and would get in trouble. So when I moved to Harlem, like, I know those age groups, like you said, because at one time I was that kid. Like I was a kid, like I knew all this stuff. And my gym teacher was Tiny Archibald. I'll never forget. I'll never forget. I didn't know who he was. And he's like, man, you need to calm down and just do this, because if you focus, you're gonna be this. And I'm like, man, who is this old man telling me what the fuck to do? I don't know him. You know, like that. And then I go home, somebody give me a tape of like a Below the Rim. You know, an old tape, we got Magic, you know, all these people. And he's on the tape, and I'm like, oh, who's this? And I go to school, like, why you tell me you play NBA? He's like, man, you think you know everything.
Right.
So I've always, since then, I've always tried to like get the kids with the mindset of like, they just want to learn.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because when you get to a certain age now, we got lawyers instead of basketball players. They want to always come back and tell you why this worked, that worked. And I'm like, bro.
Parents,
we're
parents are legendary coaches.
You know, like their parents is legendary coaches, their peoples is managers, like everybody's this, and it's like, yo, you just gotta relax and listen and just work on your craft. If you look at the great ones, like you said, if you look at the Colts, you look at like Kyrie, like, bro, you think he just come out here and he making these layups, bro? He practice these layups every day.
Dude,
and it's crazy. It seems simple, you know, just like somebody might see T out there in the backyard with Ja, and they're like, oh, this is simple. Yeah, that's how it starts.
Yeah, the repetition.
Like, that's how it starts, rep. And now, what people don't understand is, like you said, you got 10 kids, right? Because I did this before. You have 10 kids. You could teach 10 kids the same routine. 8 of them, 2 of them is going to be dribble better than 8.
Right.
And then 1 going to dribble better than 9, because now his imagination is totally different.
Right.
And that's what they don't understand. But you got to have the foundation first to do regular layups, to do this. Then you could do fade. Because now your imagination kick in. The more you see, the more you start doing, the more you get different, the more you play against people and see the space and all that, then, you know, you're going to get amongst yourself.
Right.
But when you see people that just, I remember when I first got with the Mavs, one of the players like, man, I need you to teach me that sauce. And I was like, what? I said, bro, you can't even dribble. Like, do this first. And he's like, man, I don't want to do that. Just teach me the sauce, yo. Teach me the Shammgod. Teach me the sauce. I said, bro, you trying to get me fired? You
gonna do the Shammgod every play?
I said, we know what you about to do. I said, bro, you about to get me fired. I'm not showing you that. I said, bro, just learn how to, I said, just learn the basics. Right. Between the legs, crossover behind the back. Let's start there. Then we can go everywhere. But you gotta learn the basics first.
So it's a legendary, you know, to me, legendary. I look at the Big East and a lot of coaches, and he's still coaching in the Big East right now with Georgetown. I don't know how you feel about that. Ed Cooley.
Oh, yeah.
Was he a big influence on, like, look, I want you to get into this, and then that kind of spark?
Yeah, like the thing with, because Ed used to be at Rhode Island when I was at Providence. He was assistant coach. So when I came back, he's the first person that was like, you know, believed, like, hey, viewed us coaching. And then I saw the way he coached, right? He coached from a family, a love standpoint, and he coached from a standpoint of like, be who you are, you know what I'm saying? And never, you know, and never settle. So like for me coaching, you know, I just try to let people know, like, yeah, you know, like T said, yeah, I know a little something, you know, I'm gonna give you advice, and what I don't know, I'll I know enough
figure it
people
out.
to get you,
Yeah.
and we can figure it out. But the problem with, I think, coaches now is they feel so entitled where like, hey, I made you, or you're my player, or you this. And I tell anybody I've ever trained to work, that's why I don't film workouts.
Right.
Because I don't care. I'm gonna be Shammgod whether I work with you or not. But I try to tell them like, I can't put nothing in you that God don't have in you.
Yeah.
I could bring it out, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, you have to understand, I can't make nobody.
Maybe you the God that can put it in. You can.
No, but I'm like, I can't put nothing in you that's not already there.
Right.
Now I can help you. We could tap into helping you get it out, and yeah, I can help you get more confidence, and we can do more reps, and we can do stuff like that. But there's no way I would ever say I made anyone.
Right.
I helped you. I'm like one of the tools that help you. And if I could make you, only thing I try to do is make you a little bit better, and not a little bit worse. Because you know people make people worse.
Yeah. He gets it a lot now. Like, I think a lot of people, when they look at nephew, they look at like, he could automatically make my kid.
Yeah.
Like, no, that's
No,
his
exactly.
That is his
And that's
DNA.
what they don't understand. That's from, like I tell people, like, oh man, you show me how to drill. I'm like, bro, don't you understand? Like, I've been doing this since 11.
Right.
I'm meeting you at 20. I'm like, only thing I can do, I can make you a little bit better in dribbling, but you're not gonna dribble like me.
Right.
Like, that makes no sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, all the stuff that T done did, like, you're not gonna be in the backyard with him doing this and doing that. Like, he already did that.
It was crazy. I mean, that y'all bring it up because for the most part, like when they thinking, okay, T can make him your child like his child, they got to realize my child is in the house with me 24 hours a day. We'll be sitting there watching basketball, get into a conversation that, hold on, they ain't how it's supposed to go. Okay, let's go outside and see.
Yeah, no, definitely.
So he's getting coached 24 hours, you know.
Yeah.
You know, instead of you bringing your child for 3 hours and be like, okay, cause my joint, when I was training in the backyard, I was charging $15 for a session for an hour and a half, right? They was talking about that, but at the same time, you go pay this guy $100 for an hour. What can you possibly give that kid?
No, I've been there.
$100?
No. I'm saying I've been there because like for me, and that's why like even like parents that know and see this, like I would never really charge kids because I'm from New York. Me growing up, we never had trainers. Like the coach was the trainer.
That was us.
Like the coach was the trainer.
all
We
talent.
did all this
Yeah,
and
we
did
did
all
it
that.
ourselves. Yeah,
You know, 'cause
figure it
I didn't live in a city where all that stuff mattered. You know what I'm saying? Because I remember even when I went to draft workouts, I went to Cleveland. And they'd send, you go to the draft, agents, they start sending you places to work out. I remember I went to Cleveland and there was a kid in the 7th grade. He was in the same workout as me. And I was like, yo, this is insane. Like they had us doing all these stuff and I was like, man, when I was in 7th grade, only thing I was there go to the park. Like I didn't have all these plyometrics and all this stuff they was doing. So me, that's why I always like when I watch his stuff with John, because I'm like, man, that's what I was from, like the mud. Like it wasn't no bungee cords. And, we doing, like I go in the shower before I go to bed at night and do calf races. Like that was the thing. Walk around with a weight vest on. I had jump soles on.
The big shoes.
But I never was like,
We remember when Ray came with them, John.
yeah, I never had round the clock. Yeah, I never had round the clock trainers and was like this, and that. And I see dudes, I'll be like, and like you said, I'll be seeing dudes, I'll be like, what are you possibly getting from somebody in an hour? First of all, you're taking breaks in an hour, right? So first of all, that goes down to about 5 to 40 minutes because you gotta getting warmed up. And some dudes be paying like $300, and I'll be like, yo,
Yes.
that's insane.
Yes.
Because
they doing like this big.
Yeah.
They're like 9, 10 years old.
Yeah,
It's
see, like-
paying that much.
And that's what I'm saying. See, like T was like me. When I did my workouts in Harlem before I even got back coaching, I used to come, because I used to be like, I want the workout to be finished when I get finished doing what I need you to do. So it's hard for me to say, hey, this is our workout.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because it would go.
Oh, you got 5 more minutes of work?
Yeah, it would go like an hour and a half. Because I want to really because I cared. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's the difference with, I think parents don't see nowadays is like, you got to get somebody that care. Above and beyond like just your kid being nice in basketball. Because like, as he know, bro, you could train anybody to do anything.
Right.
If they don't have the mental,
Right.
it
You
don't
got to understand
matter.
why. You got to understand why you learning this.
Yeah, if you don't have the mental, then that's why the kids practice moves. If you don't even know why you're doing the move.
Who was that guy? Who was that during your era coming up? Like, you saw in New York, street ball, playground basketball, and you was like basically that's my competition, but that's the one, like, I admire what he's doing. T said Maurice Presley. Maurice graduated a year after me, a year before T.
Right.
He was that New York kid where I was like the guy, but it's like, I can't do half of what he does with a basketball, but I'm the point guard.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at head coach like I'm a little nervous, like this nigga about to take him. He about to be full point guard. And coach was like, he gonna play the two because when you distribute to him, he can get to the basket however he wants. Who was that guy in New York where you was like, I got to, every time you seen him play, y'all right around the same.
It would
I
be,
got to keep going.
See, like for me, it was so, like New York was so
many of
different.
them?
Yeah, it was so many, because you got to think, like, before me, it was Kareem Reed, Ray for Austin. Even though I came out, even though I went out to draft early, Rafer was before me. So it was Rafer, Kareem Reed, Cameron. Like Cam was so nice when I was young. Yeah. Cam was super nice when I was young. We had.
Just be talking that
No, he don't just be talking. Cam was nice. When I was young, Cam was like the gold standard at one point. And then you had dudes like Jerry McCullough that went to Pittsburgh. But then my biggest thing was, and then we had, it was so for me, it was me, Shaheem, and Steph.
Holloway.
Yeah.
Holloway,
So, right. So Steph was like the epitome. Yeah. Like to this day, Steph is probably the best point guard I've ever played against. And almost ever seen. Like just skill. Like, I ain't talking about we have the NBA. I'm just talking about overall, like speed, shooting, jumping, everything. Like me and him used to battle in high school, but like when I say Steph was the standard, like Steph used to come 2 steps over half and shoot.
Right.
Like
he got so high in the jump.
Yo, too. Super high. Like Steph would be at your chest with his feet in the air. Steph kind of, because he come from, his whole family played basketball, so Steph used to run up 400 stairs with the weight vest and all this stuff. And then like when I got to my 11th grade year, it was because of him I really took it seriously. Right. Because like you said, it's that person that you see, and I'm like, I'll never forget my sophomore year in high school. Everybody in the street, Shammgod's nice, Shammgod's nice. So I'll never forget back in the days, young kids probably, y'all won't know this, but T must have known, Hoop Scoop came out. Mm-hmm. So Hoop Scoop is like the book of the book. It's like the Bible of basketball.
Right.
So I remember I looked at Hoop Scoop and they had like list of New York City. Man, I was like 201 in the city. Right. And Steph was #1 in the country. I was like, yo, hold up, bro. I was like, man. I know he nice, but I was like, bro, he #1 in the country. I'm 200 in the city. I was like, yo, bro, there's no way. So I mean, if you put in the country, I'm like, yo, bro. Because me and him, we used to play against each other and play together. So I'm like, yeah, he nice, but I'm like,
he ain't that much better.
Yeah. So then that summer, what people didn't know because they always looked at his rivalry, that summer I'll go stay with him in Coney Island. Mm-hmm. And his pops used to do all the trains and all the stuff, and I used to go hang out with him in Coney Island. And then I saw how serious he was because like there was when it came to me and Steph, like my pops had got locked up. Right. So like I was really like I was a street kid. Like, it's so crazy because when people be like, man, street ball player turned this, and I'm like,
basketball wasn't priority.
No.
You said boxing, streets, basketball.
Yeah, so it was like, so for me, it's like, that's why it's weird when people be like, man, like when they say, oh, street basketball, and I'm like, I probably played as much street basketball as Steph played.
Right.
But they know me because in the street, I play all the local tournaments, so it'll be like, I'll play the block tournament where it's like my block versus this block and stuff like that, whatever. But it wasn't so Steph used to be like, when I went to Coney Island, I saw how serious it was. Cause like for Steph, and that's why I give Steph a lot of credit, cause like, bro, Steph had pressure from he probably don't look at it as pressure, but I'm talking about the kid from looking from the outside.
Right.
He had pressure from the womb, because it was like soon he came out, it was like, yo, my other brothers didn't make it. They was like, yo, he gotta make it. And that's how he took it on his shoulders. So like, he was like, gotta be number one sixth grader, gotta be number one eighth grader. Yo, that's a lot. Me, I was just, hey, I'm gonna go play ball in the park, come home, cool. Like him, it was always like, yo, the only way the fam getting out of here is I gotta make it.
Right.
So like when I went up that year, he used to always tell me, he's like, yo, Shamm, you nice. He was like, yo, man, you just gotta take it serious. Cause you gotta think at this time, like, yeah, I'm playing ball and it's cool and all that, but I'm not thinking about no NBA.
Right.
Like I started watching NBA basketball when I was a senior in high school.
Right.
I didn't even know colleges.
Right.
Like Steph was watching, you know, like how T said, he was sitting there with John, they watching TV, watching. I wasn't watching, I was outside to 3, 4 in the morning, dribbling, doing stuff, hanging out with my boys. I never hustled, but my boys hustle. I'm sitting there, I go to the park with them, I go practice while my boys hustling.
Man, let them. You got the same story. It's similar type of thinking.
Yeah.
But we in the dirt. We in the.
Yeah.
But honestly, Ray was the only. He was a military kid. Ray was the only one that actually knew the NBA you could play basketball for a living.
Yeah.
We just were trying to go to school.
See, that's what I'm saying. So when I spoke to Ray and I first saw T and Ray and seen my high school pictures, I'm like, see, that's how I was. Like, Steph was the Ray. Like he knew. Like he was like, bro, I'm going to the NBA. Like it's nothing. It's this or nothing else. Me, I'm like, yo, if I get a job, I'm cool. Get some money, I'm cool. Like, because I don't really know. It's all fun and games for me. So then when I went to him, my 11th senior year, he was like, bro, I'm telling you, you could do this and that. And I was like, oh. Then my coach was like, hey, what you want to do? And I was like, you know, you don't know, you just saying shit. I'm like, yeah, I want to be McDonald's All-American.
Yeah.
And he looking at the hoop scoop thing, like, what are you talking about? I'm like, bro. I said, just tell me how I can get there.
Right.
And he was like, hey, if you come 6 o'clock in the morning every morning and work out from 6 to 8, and then go to class and after practice stay. And I'm one of the people, like, because of boxing, I was already so disciplined.
Right.
So it's easy, like, even when I do weight loss shot stuff, I just know if you tell me what to do to lock in, I'ma lock in. So I did that every morning for the next 2 years. I'll never forget. And then I just start growing up. Then like that summer, my coach was the commissioner of 5-star. So then I had to go to 5-star every year. So then that summer, went to 5-star point guard camp. It was me, Shah, Steph, all of us. I'll never forget. I just went crazy. I got MVP. So then it was just like, and that's when 5-star was like,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
the best thing in the world.
Yeah.
And then Howard Garfinkel, rest in peace, was like the man. He was like Jerry West. Like if he say you was nice, you was nice. So
Stamp, yeah.
I turned out the camp, and then after that, I just jumped. The next thing I know, I was like 15 in the country.
You went from 2 something to 50.
Yeah, and it went rapid.
Where'd you go in the city?
Yeah.
2?
Oh, city, I was number 2. I was behind Steph. So I was like, I still was number 2. Which was okay at that point. I was like, yeah. I was like, I'm rocking.
Yeah, bro, rocking.
Yeah, I was like, we
in the
rocking.
city.
And then that was like the first time they took 2 people from the same position to play McDonald's. Because at this point, I was like, they was like, yo, it's undeniable. Because I was having like, I remember my best game in high school, I had 45 points and 22 assists in the same game. So it was like, come on,
Sheesh.
bro. Steph called me that night, like, I told you, yo, you gonna be, and I was like, and I play like, and that's why I guess I resonate with the kids now, because I played then how they play now.
Right.
So everything was off the dribble, everything was fun, it was fancy, you know. And senior year, I led my team in 3-point shooting, since T saying, you know, I couldn't shoot. So I was coming.
So nobody was shooting threes but you.
That's the big shooter.
You just answered my question, because I was gonna say, besides that, you touched on it earlier with the besides the money that the young kids make now, which to me, rightfully so.
Yeah, no doubt.
What do you admire? Would it be the style of play they get to do now?
Yes. Like I tell
You
people,
see a lot of basketball.
I tell people, I'll be like, man, I always laugh, and I'll be like, man, I was born 25 years too early. Because I'll be like, man, the way the kids play now, it's just a freedom.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And like, whether it's me, whether it's T, whether it's you, like, you couldn't even imagine that type of freedom.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
I couldn't
saying?
even lay the ball up like this.
Yeah, that's what.
Your palm had to face the backboard, or he check you out of the game.
Bro, I'm telling you, when I got,
made the layup.
I tell you, my culture shock, the first culture shock I ever had. I go to Providence, you know, and I know people see the Providence stuff, and they like, man, you was doing your thing. People don't understand. Every day, I was in the coach's office.
Right.
About why you doing this? You can't do that. Stop doing that. And
I was watching. You look like you was being handcuffed from what
exactly.
we saw coming in.
And that's what I was.
So like he on the Big East on the stage, and it's like,
Bro, my first Big East game. We played Syracuse, right? And I'll never forget. So like, me and Steph loved Kitty Anderson.
yeah.
So it was like, and then we loved Pearl Washington. So we was like, yo, it was like it's only two schools to go to, either Georgia Tech or Syracuse. And then I used to like Georgetown, but then Iverson just went there.
Yeah.
So Iverson was turning up, and I was like, I can't go to Georgetown. So I'm sitting there, I'm like, I was going back and forth with Syracuse, and they was like, yeah. And this was my whole thing with Steph my whole life. So they was like, yeah, we want you, but we gotta wait for Steph to see what he do. Cause they've been recruiting Steph forever though. They've been recruiting Steph since like 6th grade because his brother and stuff. And I never forget, I was sitting there, I was like, yo, you sure? I was like, I'm ready to sign. I'm ready to sign. So they was like, yeah, but you know, they was like, well, you and Steph play AAU together, so y'all can play together. And I was like, yeah. It sound good. I was like, nah. I was like, I gotta be a point guard.
Right.
And he's a point guard, so I'm like, no. Cause then if you don't do good, now you bringing in somebody 6'5" to play the 2. And now one of us gotta sit down. And at that point, I already know, I'm like, we rolling with this. So I'm like, nah, I'm like, I can't do that. So then I would never forget, I'm about to go to school. I hop the train. I get arrested. The assistant coach from Providence is at the train station. I get arrested going, he comes in. Cause you know, of course he knows me from off the top. So he comes like, what's going on? And they like, yo, he need an adult to come get him. And I'm like, I can't have my moms come here. I'm gonna chill. He comes, he gets me out. And that's how me and him that's how I wound up at Providence. Cause me and him was like real tight. He started recruiting me that day.
Right.
So they was already recruiting, but I still was like Syracuse, Georgia Tech. So then I tell Syracuse, I'm like, hey, if y'all don't want me to, if y'all don't want to do it, I'm about to commit. Cause I knew Steph was committing late. I was like, I'm trying to commit now so I could just play my senior year. Syracuse was like, nah, you know, this and that. I commit to Providence. A week later, and if Steph watched this, he did it on purpose. A week later, he goes to Georgia Tech.
Syracuse don't get none of it.
Yeah, and I remember I was so pissed. We played Syracuse my first opening game.
Who's the starting point guard?
What's the dude name?
Not Archery.
No, it was he was like 6'4". Yeah, what's his name? Huh?
Lawrence Ball.
He played.
Lawrence Morton played. He played the 2, but he wasn't the point. It was a left-hand kid. I forgot his name. And you know who else? You not Lucius Jackson. He was left-hand dark skin. He was from Baltimore. And you know who was the freshman that came in with me? It was Josh Hart.
Josh Hart.
He was coaching the G League.
Right.
G League Unite.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll never forget, I had 18 and 12. I was hyped. I hit like 4 threes. I was like, yeah, y'all, what is that?
You gotta throw that 3 in there?
Yeah, I gotta throw the 3 because T hating right now. So I was 4 for 8 from 3, right? So I'll never forget, we lost by 2. So the whole town's already like going crazy for me because they're like, it's funny that you say that because they was like, the difference between Shammgod and the other point guard, Shammgod could shoot, he could do this, right? So right after that, my coach bring me in the office. And he's like, hey, how you think you play? You know, I'm hyped. This is my first game. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, oh, this is easy. I'm going to NBA. This is easy right here. Yeah, I'm like, these dudes, this is easy. He was like, yeah, I don't want you shooting that much.
Yeah.
So then you go from seeing like the first couple of games to me now open, pump faking, driving in, passing and all that. And that's why I'm so passionate when it comes to
Freedom.
freedom, or kids like Ja, you know what I'm saying? Like Tino, like every time I see Ja, I tell him all the time, bro, you still Ja Morant, bro.
Yeah.
End of the day, no matter what nobody say, bro. You know, I don't care, miss shots, whatever you going through, end of the day, you Ja Morant, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's
Appreciate you
and
for
I
that.
never we never had that. You know what I'm saying? Especially where I come from, or like how T grew up, we never had that. Like Steph had that because his family was so immersed in basketball, so no matter, and I used to always wonder, like, I used to be like, man, his people crazy. Like, they always talking about he gotta be number one and all, and I never understood it because I wasn't raised to be the ball player. Like you probably see with Ray, like, yo, you have to do this, you have to. I was raised with a certain type of freedom where it was like I come home and tell them I was at the park, and she's like, oh, okay, you was playing basketball, oh, that's good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we're different in this era. We come like, yo, dude, you need to be.
Yeah, got to push it.
Yeah, you know, my mom was like, oh, I heard you had a good game. I'm like, yeah, I had a good game. I was like, yeah, I'm about to cook this food for the family.
So she said, look, you either gonna stay around here and work in the plant,
Yeah.
you going to the military, or you gonna figure out a way to go to college, and I ain't got no money for you.
Yeah.
That's it. So that's how we knew
Yeah.
sport could get us
Yeah.
And that's
into school.
And that's what my goal was really with Ja.
Yeah.
It was like get 4 years somewhere.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, go to college, get a degree, you know. And then once he started, you know, getting that notoriety or whatever, and especially when he got to college, his freshman year at Murray State, I was actually asking my partners, like, yo, how's the money and stuff overseas? So I tell everybody, I would be lying if I said I knew my son was going to make it to the league and be who he is now. You know, so just like that, you did 11 years overseas?
Yeah. So it was good. Like, what happened was, so I went overseas. It was the year of Yao Ming.
Got you.
Okay.
Right, so I went to China, and they did everything the NBA did. You know, I got best import, MVP, I was killing. I'm like, and then I'll never forget, I forgot who was the coach of Seattle. They saw me over there, and like I was actually, you know, I was playing like I played in high school, because I mean it was Chinese. They couldn't really talk much English, so they just let me hoop. So I'm shooting. No, I played with a team called Wama. I was at Hangzhou.
No, you said Seattle.
Oh yeah. So the coach of Seattle, I'm trying to think.
It wasn't Carl?
Yeah, it was Carl and the assistant coach. They came over to watch Yao Ming, and like all the NBA scouts came. So I was like, oh, this is the best place to be. All-Star game, I'm shooting jumpers, scoring. They like, man, you really worked on your jump. But I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, only thing I'm doing
So
is
they knew
playing.
too. They knew you couldn't shoot.
So, but in my mind, I'm like, I'm just playing like I played in high school. Like, you know, I'm just free because ain't nobody telling me, ain't nobody saying on every makes or every miss. You know what I'm saying? So now, of course, if you're a confident person, you just go. So I'm over there, and I'll never forget. See, I was like, yo, oh, we gonna bring you this summer to training camp. It's like, man, you really worked in this stuff. You should definitely.
No, they say your shot.
Yeah, they was like, there's no way you shouldn't be in the NBA the way I'm playing. You know what I'm saying? I'm leading the league in scoring, assists, steals, because I always played D. So I was like, yo, and they was like, yo, we gonna bring you, and then the team get taken away.
Yeah.
So that's one, but it was just a lot of stuff growing up. Like, not even to make it a big thing, but it was a lot. So I remember when I first went overseas, and people was like, yo, you don't think you should, because in high school, when my pops got locked up in high school, I used to always write my mother's last name on like any homework or any stuff, right? So of course, that's why everybody called me Shammgod, because in high school I used to just be like, Shammgod Wells, because that was my mother's last name. Like in the beginning, like with my pops, I used to be like so upset he left. So I'm like, man, I'm repping my mom. So I used to always just write Shammgod Wells. So then when I got to college, they was like, yo, you gotta use your birth name. So I'm like, all right, cool, ain't no good. They was like, either you gotta use your birth name or you pay $500 to change your name. I'm like, somebody give me $500, I'm getting some Jordans. I don't know what y'all talking about. You know what I'm saying? So now they use my birth name, and then everybody just go into this big explosion, like, oh, he's so cocky, he's so arrogant.
Hey, that was. I was like, bro, that is dope as that.
Yeah, so
I didn't know that.
So that was my birth name because that's my father's name. And then I remember the newspaper was like, you're so arrogant. And I'm like, so then I said, look, because you know how you get the college booklet with your family name in it. Right. And I'm like, okay, because nobody did it but me. So I'm like, if you look at my family name, everybody's last name is Shammgod. Why would you think Shammgod is my first name?
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So then when I did it, they was like, oh God, Shammgod, oh, he's so, and then, you know, Providence, they like, yo, this and that. So then when I got out the NBA, I never forget, I wish I could put certain people on blast. I think the Scott came to me, no, but I'm in the NBA, I can't do it now. The Scott came to me and he was like, yo, don't you think you should change your name back to Shammgod Wells? Like when I first got out of the league, and I was like, what that has to do with anything?
Right.
And he was like, oh, people could think like this. And I never like thought about it until I got in the NBA, and I see the way like scouts and different people like have narratives about people that they don't know, but they just go with the flow.
Right.
So I'm like, it replays in my head now when I think about it, because I've been in the rooms with people, like I've been in different rooms, and I hear people like, oh, he's this and that. I'm like, huh? Like, what are you talking about? Like, that makes no sense. And they're like, well, like half the stuff has nothing to do with basketball.
Right. We gotta let you get back to work, but I gotta outro with this. Because y'all was probably the best McDonald's.
Of course, we were. Yeah.
Best McDonald's All-American East-West.
They're gonna try to rebut it, but we got it.
Why did it take so many of them so long to commit? Was everybody waiting for KG?
No, what happened was we had made a pact. Most of them, yeah, you can say it now. Most of them was getting NILs then. You know what I'm saying? So it was waiting for them NILs to kick in. You know what I'm saying? They was waiting for them NILs to kick in. I remember we used to be on them bus rides, and they would talk about the NILs. You know, like stuff. Yo, he probably was gonna go to Syracuse. I know in that last hour,
He got that
Bobby
bag.
Crimmins landed that plane on top of that projects and drove back and flew back to Georgia Tech. And the rest was history. So that NIL was real nice. So it was like, but yeah, a lot of people committed late because you know those two people was trying to really get like the Fab Five thing going.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Like, cause we all, like even to this day, we all close. So everybody was like, cause you gotta think, like even when I first got there, if you look at the McDonald's game, we all got Band-Aids on our ears. So when I first got there, I was like, oh, I'm gonna get my ears pierced. Everybody's like, yo, I'm gonna come. And you know you couldn't take the earring out, so everybody put the Band-Aids. So if you look at McDonald's, that's why everybody, so we was all close, even to this day, me, Chauncey, all of us, we all close. So like everybody's trying to figure out like, should they go to school together? Should we do this? And then once KG just was like, he going to NBA, and it was like, and there was no doubt that he was going to do good because KG was the same exact, like the way he is mentally. He was like that in high school, you know what I'm saying? So like for that, but you know, a question for you is like, when the first time you thought Ja was going to make it? Or for both of you, both
make it.
Like,
it had to be when I started seeing the buzz, and that actually happened. Shout out CP3 camp, because me and Phil, we went to the camp. We were there the whole time, and actually me and Ja got into some words then, because I'm looking at what's going on. I'm talking about, but between drills, you know, you got dudes dunking, you know, and I'm looking at Ja, and he just chilling, he just watching everything, but it's scouts and all, you know. So I'm like, what is wrong with this kid? So then, the night before, I want to say it was Friday night, we were sitting up in the room, and I said, yo, because Phil did this to me when I was in college. He came to see me play, and he was like, after we played, he said, who was that guy? And I was like, what you talking about? He was like, number 21. So me, I'm sitting there like, well, I don't know him. That's our first time playing. He talking about, nah, 21 from Claflin. And I was like, me, what are you talking about? He was like, that's not you. I don't know who the fuck that was out there playing, because you play way better than that, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, from then, you know, that joint pretty much clicked. So I asked Ja, I was like, you're not even being yourself. You know, why you playing like that? You playing lazy as hell. And he was like, Pops, this is a point guard camp, right? And I was like, yeah. And he said, you see what everybody out there doing? He said, everybody's out there trying to shoot. trying to pass. I'm showing them I'm different than them.
Yeah.
I can rebound. And he was actually playing like the power forward, grabbing the rebound, kicking to whoever running the guard. So it was a dead ball play. And he looked over at me and he said, watch this. And when he said, watch this, I pulled my camera out and started recording. That's when he went back door and caught that lob and was looking down in the rim and dunked. And the scouts went crazy. They start running the field, you know, like, cause they couldn't talk to me. You know?
Yeah.
So they, Mike Smith from ESPN, he came up to me and he was like, tell me you got the dunk, and I was like, yeah. So he giving me all his information to send the joy to, right? So after that, that's when he got on the draft board. And then I think he was like 56, then he dropped to 39, and then once he played Alabama, Auburn, and Kill, that's when he got into pretty much the top 10, you know, and then I think he was the second guard behind Garland, and I think that's when Garland got hurt.
Garland and the kid from Indiana, he was a two guard. He was high on the boards. I think he broke his hand. I think he went to Boston early. Gotta forget his name.
Yeah, so
he was high on that.
So when they start doing, that's the only time I can really say, okay, he probably gonna make it to the league.
It was
you
the
know?
same. It's the same story.
Yeah.
It was that Wednesday. We got there that Thursday when him and Joe had the conversation. So the camp went 9 to 12. They broke for lunch. CP did film with him.
Yeah.
And then they did up and down. So the top college guards and then the top high school guards. It was Cole Anthony there.
Yeah.
It was a lot of guys there. And then after the dunk and everything, all the scouts left because they was the only ones in it. You could be in it. So all of them left, like, yeah.
Yeah, for real.
You know, they had their clipboards and they getting up out of it. Well, me and T got back to the room and we like in a little Hampton Inn double and got like a little 6-pack of Michelob Ultra and stuff, and we looking at ESPN and we just quiet. And I just looked at him, I'm like, bro, something is changing right now, bro. Really, yeah. Sure enough, like that next day, scouts start walking up to me like, hey, who are you? Because he keeps walking over and I'm like, I'm his uncle. They're like, we could talk to you. Right then, I go back to corporate America Monday morning, little crazy Bleacher Report, all this little draft thing come out. I'm like, he on the board now. You know, going to OKC Thunder. I'm like, hell, they got Westbrook. He
Right.
You know what I mean? But that's when the momentum started. When I started looking at it like, oh, this is a wrap. And then to his point, the Alabama, Auburn, you start seeing it like, okay, top 10. It's like, I was hiding in camp.
I got you.
Like, man, I'm about to be out of here.
It's funny because you said you was a ranked 201. Yeah, I don't even remember Ja ever being ranked.
That's crazy.
And he was averaging like 28 in high school.
Yeah. I know. I told you that's what somebody sent me a film of him in high school. What's the what do y'all feel now though when y'all see Ja playing? Because I'm like y'all, like with the podcast, it's like I always like to ask parents like what their parents, uncle, family, like how do they feel now when they see their kid at that you know, of course there's more stuff to go, but the stuff that the impact that he would have. Because like for me, like, you know, like, because once my father got out, like Tino, me and my father is like this. So like once he out, he's always just talk to me about life and lessons and stuff. And I used to always tell him, like, because he used to be like, man, you know, talk about the NBA and like, man, this era and all that. And I told him, I said, you know what? I said, I really don't even think about that. I said, you know what I'm most happy about is because in any job you want to leave it better than how you found it.
Right.
And I was like, one thing I know about NBA, I will leave it better than how I found it.
Right.
Because of dribbling.
Right.
Because I pushed the thing forward. So like for y'all, you know, it could be your last question, but like what do y'all feel now seeing Ja now?
Mine's is different because it wasn't no mystery. Like Ja always said, I was his biggest hater, and that was on purpose because I never wanted to give Ja, you know, the seal of approval because I hate complacency.
Yeah.
Right. So
I know it was like that with my son, my 12-year-old son. You was asking him questions.
Right. So it was crazy because like even in high school, I remember he was playing against Sumter High. They moved him up and he got fouled at the end of the game and went to the free throw line. That would have won it. He missed both free throws. After the game, he's crying, and I'm laughing. Of course, I had a couple of cold nights in the room because of that, because his mom didn't like that. But I'm laughing, and she's like, "Why are you laughing at him?" I was like, "It builds character. You know, he's gonna learn to prepare better. So the next time he get up there, he's gonna knock it down." So I was always the negative. I only told him I was proud of him when he got drafted, because his dream was to make it to the NBA. It wasn't to go to college. It wasn't to lead the state in scoring or anything like that. It's the NBA. So I'm relieved now because I can finally be a fan. So that's why when you see me on the front row, like you're gonna see me tonight, you know, with my cup in hand, root my child on. That's the victory drink.
Yeah, no doubt. I love it. For you?
Business side. And even when he was talking about $15, like, I'm in corporate America, telecommunication. I'm pissed because I'm hearing the rumbling back home about what he's doing with that little $15 or whatever. And, you know, for me, it's like I want to blast off, but I ain't doing that on social media. That just ain't my style or whatever. But it was like, man, he's training these kids. Him and, you know, my sister-in-law, Jamie, they cooking food, they getting Gatorade, you know what I'm saying? They supplying everything. So we talking about 15 a session. And it ain't like he got all that going on. And then Ja's actually working with the younger kids.
You're right.
You know what I'm saying? While he training with them and everything. So it's like you move forward, and it's like he got drafted, and I'm like, you got a job, congratulations. But then now I'm, like T said, I'm a fan because I've been watching basketball and trying to be a couch GM, doing it on 2K and all this stuff. Now I get to actually play with somebody. I don't got to create the play. I get to play with somebody with the name on the back, and it's one of us. I get to watch him win or lose. I'm watching him actually transcend the game in his glory out there. You know what I'm saying? I actually get to sit back and actually be a fan of somebody from where I'm from, you know, part of my family and stuff like that. So that's my thing. He actually got a job and he gets to play what he loves to do. And then off the court, he's the one talking. I don't do none of that training stuff. I ain't nothing. I ain't got nothing to say about that. Hey man, we need to sign these cards. That's where I'm at. This is the part. After that, sit down beside him with his cup and watch.
But that's why he blessed though. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all got it like that, because the sad part about kids is they go older and they become like good and be stars, and then people come in and be like, "Oh, your father don't know this, your mom don't know this, your family, they don't know this." And it's like, I always tell parents, I'll be like, man, listen, the same circle that was breaking that chicken down together when nobody was there, you better keep that same circle, man. If you got to teach them to get knowledge or whatever they need to do, teach them to get knowledge, but because they always going to come from the love.
And he teaching us.
No, that's what I mean. Yeah.
He teaches us so much things and whatnot, especially with the advancement of social media and stuff. It's like a lot of times I'm wide open for it because again, I'm not young. I know old school ways. Some of that works, you know. But it's like if these cell phones went down, they don't know how to get on a regular phone.
Oh, they cook. They cook.
Actually, you know, figure something out.
They don't even know how to drive nowhere. They don't know no directions.
That's what I tell them, because they be like this. You know, you better learn landmarks. You know, but my cousin before I go, my cousin Tyrone, he used to say this back in the day. That cat said, I know you know the slogan. It's two type of guards. It's a point guard and then there's Shammgod.
Tell him that's love.
Appreciate you, brother.
Tell him
Appreciate
that's
you
love.
for real.
Tell him I get a shirt, man. I got him some money on it, man.
No doubt.
That's it, man.
We appreciate you.
Nah, it's all love. You know that. Yeah, you know, y'all feel.
Podcast.
Yup.
It's 12.
TL Podcast, God Shammgod here, Assistant Coach Dallas Matt, all love. This is better than just me coming here talking. This is actually like family to me. They always extended love to me, and there's nothing but love back.
No doubt. My God, watch you.
You know that.
Yep. All right.
Hey man, we got you about 10 minutes after.